good neighbor. Today, we're flying high above Oakland, California. But first, we better get over that tree. What did I say about drones and trees? They do not like each other. But yes, we are nearing the end of this awesome deconstruction of the Oakland glass plant. That's right, look at that thing. Where did it go? If you've been watching this glass plant series, you will realize there used to be 3 smokestacks. That's right, and a huge glass plant. But now, the glass plant is gone. And so is the cat I just scared off my lap. But look at this. Smokestack number 2. Well, you can see it's on its way down as we speak. But I used to fly through smokestack 1 and smokestack 2, but now it's flying through smokestack 2 and smokestack 3. I'm running out of smokestacks. And as I usually turn and do the great reveal of the building that once was there, well, a whole bunch of nothing. Who shot John? That's right, that big building is toppled over. They did not take that building down piece by piece. It looks like they just pushed it over. So I went on vacation for a week, and boy, you better not blink around here or you will miss something. But that is amazing how they just pushed that structure right over. They did not tear that down like I thought I would. So every time that I thought they would do something here, they did it different. I thought they would blow up those smokestacks, but nope. They have a man up on the top with a chipping hammer. And I thought with that big structure, they would tear that down piece by piece, but nope, they toppled it over. So as soon as you think something, well, don't believe everything you think. I read that on the sidewalk one time in chalk that said, "Do not believe everything you think." And boy, I live by that motto. I really do think some stupid stuff. But look at this. The trucks are getting loaded. That's right. We've been waiting for this day. This piles and piles of metal have yet to be trucked out of here. And today, well, there is a truck being loaded. So that is always a good thing to see. The property getting cleared of all the metal that they have torn apart. Look at the size of that man lift. That's right. That is a big, I guess you would call it a boom lift at this point, but it is fully erected and fully extended out. And that man, he's inside the smokestack as we speak. That's right. So if you want to knock that backside of that smokestack down, you got to get inside the smokestack. So that takes some good driving right there. I'm highly impressed with his driving skills. Now, with all the hearing and his goggles, I don't know if he's seen that drone. I was right at his eye level. He could have probably picked up a rock and knocked my drone out of the air. I don't know. But that structure used to stand 6 stories high and straight up. And now after all these years, that poor structure is laying right on its back. So who would have thought the engineers and the people who built that thing ever think it'd be in this position on its back? Well, I guess that's a good way to die, on your back. So that's a good metaphor for this glass plant. The main structure is toppled on its back. Isn't that a sight to see? That big structure that used to stand in front of those smokestacks is just dead in the pit from which the big building used to stand. Yes, that pit used to be a humongous building there, and now it is just a pit of metal. I can't believe how much metal has come out of this project. I wish I had the figure for that, but they're not done yet, are they? There's still more things to chop up here and tear out. But I'm saying that we are getting to the end of this project because they are running out of buildings to tear down. I think all they have is 2 main buildings left and 2 smokestacks. And they don't really want to tear those little walls down because that is like their little hiding structure for their equipment. But all that needs to be tore up. So there was no heavy machinery working on that. So I always would like to see some action in these videos. And I've been on these jobs where there was no tractors, and boy, it doesn't very make those tractors make it interesting, let's just put it that way. And this man that's working so high above the ground that I wonder if he ever looks down. They say when you're working that high, don't look down. And I do believe that's the truth. You really do want to concentrate on what's right in front of you. So I'm sure he does. There he is. So if you know that man, you can see he is earning his money on this day. It is not easy to hold up that heavy jackhammer. And then after you drill a little bit, you have to cut the rebar. So there is a lot of work into tearing down a smokestack. Now, I don't know how low he has to go before the big machinery takes over. But at a certain point on the smokestack, the big machinery comes in and does quick work of the rest of that smokestack. But that is a big one, isn't it? I think it would probably take you at least 20 minutes to get up from the ground to your work area because those things don't move too fast. And you got to position yourself just right. So you can see on this day he had the sky as clear as a bell, not a cloud in the sky. And the wind was blowing just right. So I bet you when the wind's blowing just right, he does appreciate that. Because then it's not blowing in his face. Well, like I said, this is the last, well, I guess not the last, the second to the last smokestack that this man has to come down and take out. Now, if you notice in this picture, there is a seagull that kept chasing me away from this man working. So believe it or not, this is one of the reasons I kept backing out of this picture. And I did want to see this big pile of metal that I've been observing for some time get smaller now. Before it was getting bigger, but now it is getting smaller now that they're starting to haul it away. Well, now that I backed out, maybe that seagull is going to leave me alone. So there's a spoiler alert. It attacks me again. And the only reason that I could hear it from across the bridge, believe it or not, from where I fly, I could hear the seagull kind of every time he would attack me, I could hear him coming. But there's a good example of the wind blowing just right for that man. So if you're doing that type of work, you really do want a windy day where that does not blow in your face. So this is not a job for weak people. He's got a pretty big basket to work in there, but he's always got to be tied off. But see that seagull? There he is, flying around that other smokestack. So that's again while I had to back out. See, he's still chasing me. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Birds do not like drones. Trees do not like drones. And power lines do not like drones. For some reason, these three things are the drone enemies. So, but over here, that seagull was leaving me alone, and if he wasn't, I didn't hear him. So there is a good amount of money sitting right before your eyes. Those big beams get chopped up into small beams. That's right. All that small metal used to be big metal. So he has cut all that up into workable sizes, and that's what they're loading onto that truck. So it's a lot of picking through and sorting. I've said that probably tens of times, that these guys got to pick through these piles and separate the big valuable metal from the smaller not valuable metal. Well, hopefully on this type, I was trying to get a good view of that seagull not messing with me, but I was going to get a good view of this last structure that they need to tear down. So I said they have 2 buildings left, but believe it or not, that looks like one big building to me. You tell me. That big building by itself seems to be one structure, but they are tied together, so I guess you would call that 2 buildings, technically. But there you go, one big pit and one big building left. And then you just got to haul it all out of here. So you can see on that big building, it's like they almost started to tear that one down, but stopped. Everything they have to do is logistics here. They have to clean up a little bit and then start tearing stuff down. They cannot just tear this stuff down before they clean it up. So I think they have to clean up this pit. Then they will get to that last building. So before I end this video, I did want to get a zoom in action on this guy, but I don't really think that bird let me this day. So if you wonder why don't I just sit still, it is because of that bird. And boy, Did that bird have a mean old time today? Because you can see each time I backed out, that's not just because of the shot, it's because a bird was chasing me. But this shot was a good one to back out of because it really shows how much glass plant is gone. There's just that little bit of left, which is a lot. See, there's that bird. I cannot get away from that bird. I think right here, I didn't even know I was filming because of my erratic movements. So I apologize for this erratic behavior with this filming, but at this point I was trying to get away from a bird. And I was trying to look for him. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Well, this is the building across the street that the homeless stole the copper out of and set it on fire. Maybe on accident, maybe on purpose. I don't know. And I always say homeless, but I don't know who steals copper. They could be living in homes. The homeless get a bad rap. So if you're homeless and you watch these, I am apologizing to you. But a lot of homeless do steal copper from abandoned buildings. There is no denying that. I've seen it with my own eyes, actually. But we all got to make a living somehow. But there is a property owner that really has seen a lot of damage because someone has broken into his abandoned building that he's trying to rent, and they just tear open all the walls for the copper. I've seen that with my own eyes also. So you never know who you're going to hurt by vandalizing a building to steal their copper. Some people will say, well, it's their fault. They shouldn't leave a building so available to thieves. Some people even say the catalytic converters shouldn't be worth so much money. Why would you put a part underneath your car so much money? That's why the thieves are doing it. Well, what happened to just being a good society and not stealing? I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to get into society's problems of stealing and copper and setting buildings on fire, but that was a good building across the street that could have been somebody's business right next to the water, but now it's just burned up. Oh, look at that concrete slab. Yep, all that concrete. That's all got to come out next. Now that guy is keeping all this water on that because the neighbors have been complaining about the dust, and boy, have they been keeping a lot of water on this job site since they have gotten threatened with lawsuits. But you can see they are, from this position, keeping a good dust control on everything. Well, there you go. I've rambled on a little bit too much on this one, but like I say, I'm running out of buildings and content. They're tearing them down before we know it. All this will be gone. But if you worked here, my hat is off to you because there's not much left of the Oakland glass plant. We'll give this guy one more little buzz around. And I wonder if he'll wave goodbye to me. I don't know. I wish he would. At least acknowledge me, right? I don't know. I am pretty close, and he has a job to do. But at this point, I thought for sure he would see me, right? Right in front of you. Where is the wave? No wave, no wave. But I did get to see a little bit of his hard work. Well, that's his office, so it's a little different than mine, a little different than yours. But that is the Oakland glass plant. Number 068, I don't know. I want to say something like that, but I'm not here for good information. Well, there's that bird shadow. You can see the bird shadow is chasing my drone. So if you look on the ground, you can see the bird shadow darting back and forth. And now I see the shadow getting closer and closer to my drone. So I gotta go. I don't want to lose a drone because of a stupid seagull. Well, I guess that drone or that bird was telling me to finish this video because I was droning on and on. Okay, bird, you won. I'll leave. This is your land. I was just trying to document it. God, you are so mean. All right. Well, seagull, you won. But I am a little pest, so of course I had to give him one last buzz by before I end this video. But I was not going to let a seagull run me off. Or was I? I guess I was, because I did end this video right here. So seagull, you did win. And that guy, well, he never did wave to me. But I wasn't about to lose a drone over a wave. So next time you see a drone, there's that bird still chasing me. Next time you see a drone in your face, give it a wave. He's just there to make other people happy. All right. The ship is still sunk, and they're still there doing nothing about that. I guess we call that a man-made coral reef. All right. Well, there's not much left to see in this adventure. All the buildings are almost gone. The ship is still sunk, and all I can say is, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these glass plant demolition adventures. Almost over. But I want to thank you again for coming along with me. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody.